Wade, Bryce is right here. Will you going?
Let's go ahead. We got Bryce here, and we'll get him started.
You're up, kid.
I'll sit right there. That's scary.
We got Bryce Osmond here, so we'll let you guys fire away with questions.
Yeah, I guess Bryce, to start, just how did you feel about your game today?
I was pretty happy with throwing up 5 innings, no runs. There's always room for improvement. Got to tighten some stuff up, but I just had a good time out there. It's nice to be back at O'Brate and competing with a great group of guys. So yeah, all in all, I was pretty pleased with today.
You've had a interesting, I guess, summer, I guess, since the close of last season. Kind of take me through what it's been like for you.
Well, we went from, no baseball at all to, hey, there's a chance we get to play. And then, we got to play in Tulsa at Driller Stadium, which was a blast. And now we're back at O'Brate, which is, it just keeps getting better. The more baseball we play, the more fun we're having. And we're just happy to be back and happy to be out here.
Kind of yesterday you weren't playing, obviously, but the basketball team showed up. Kind of how cool is that you guys, you play different sports, but they're so intertwined here at Oklahoma State?
Honestly, I think it's really cool that kind of, we've got each other's back. We back each other. Everybody supports all the other athletic teams. We like to get over there as much as we can, and it's really cool to see them out here supporting us as well.
You guys have been able to show your power these last 2 games on the offensive side. What's it like seeing those guys, take balls out of the park?
That's big time. As a pitcher, I can't ask for anything more. It's huge to have a quick inning and then we get on the board. We throw a couple, 2 or 3 on the board because somebody goes big fly, and it's tough to beat that.
Appreciate it, Bryce.
Yeah. Yep. Next.
Yeah, Bryce. You guys in game 1, Illinois State kind of did a good job of getting some good bat on some balls and hit some stuff around. And then in games 2 and 3, you guys as a staff overall made some adjustments and were able to, for the most part, shut them down. They scored 2 yesterday and then nothing today. What did you guys see after game 1 that allowed for you to fix some things going for game 2 and 3?
I think after game 1, we dug deeper into their approach at the plate, and then from that point on, we just kind of we attacked everything that we saw. We picked them apart a little bit. Each day we're seeing a little weakness that we can pick at, and I would say yesterday and today we definitely got a lot better feel of what was going to happen and how they were feeling at the plate.
And you guys so far have been proven to be really good at getting out of jams. Runners get on base, leadoff hitters, and you guys are doing a really good job of not letting any of those guys come across. And one thing that Josh talked about for what makes you guys so good is all of you guys have strikeout stuff. All you guys have stuff to lean back on. So my question for you would be, what do you lean back on when you're in a tough situation where you've got a runner in scoring position, nobody out, stuff like that?
I think knowing that you've got stuff to punch somebody out when you need to is huge, but I also think just being able to trust everybody behind you is just as important. I don't think I've ever felt as comfortable with, a defense behind me as I do right now. I know that if the ball ends up in play, like my guys are going to make a play on it. So it's a pretty good feeling to be up there knowing like, hey, we can either punch him or if he puts the ball in play, like we're going to get him.
And what do you guys see through these first 6 games? What do you guys see as the team's overall identity going forward as you get going into this season?
I don't know. I don't know how I would describe the overall identity. I think we're pretty confident as a group together, but we're all like, we're really tight. We've all, as much as we didn't get to be a team in the fall, we had to do everything in small groups. I think it's pretty amazing that we've all come together like we have. And like I said, everybody knows like we've got each other's back and that's kind of how we roll.
Thanks.
Yep.
Hey, Bryce. First shutout of O'Brate. What were your? How exciting is it to be a part of that?
It's really exciting.
What things did you, like? At what point did you kind of have an idea that this was going to be a possibility?
Honestly, I didn't even think about that until the game was over. I guess it just kind of registered that this was the first shutout at O'Brate. But I think when Roman went out there to finish it up, I was screaming pitchers BP for about 20 minutes, trying to speak it into existence. So yeah, I mean, I didn't really consider that it was the first one at O'Brate, but yeah, that's even more exciting.
So I would have almost guessed that it would be more the opposite, where you would try to not talk about it at all. What was that something that even crossed your mind? If, like, whenever you're in a game like this and it could be a shutout, does that ever cross your mind?
No, the only thing I ever say don't talk about is if a guy's got a no-hitter going. That's the only thing that's kind of off limits. I think once we've got a shutout, we just keep it rolling.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bryce, I had a couple more for you, mostly just about the stadium. Yesterday, Josh talked about you guys getting to get the feel for this park and how it plays and stuff like that. And one thing that we talked about is that this is probably a hitter's ballpark. Parker talked about that being a hitter's ballpark with the wind usually blowing either to left or to right. Is that something that you take into account when you're on the mound here? Is that something you found as well, that this is a hitter's ballpark?
We definitely think about it. I know yesterday it was blowing straight out to left, and then this morning we got in and seemed like it was blowing straight in, and we get some weird wind flow. And sure, I mean, we pay attention to it, but Rob's motto, our motto as a staff, is that we're going to live down in the zone. So, you know, at the end of the day, like, we kind of avoid it if we execute our pitches.
Thanks.
Yep.
Anything else for Bryce? All right, good. Appreciate it.
Got Brock right here for you guys.
Awesome.
Nice, man. What's going on, everybody?
Buck, we'll let him go ahead and fire away at you.
Yeah, Brock, I guess 2 home runs in 2 days kind of just describe the feeling.
Yeah, you know, it's obviously a great feeling. It's just, you know, it's just a series, you know, another series for us, you know, as a team. But just to be able to do things like that, you know, just really the amount of time that Josh and the guys have, you know, put in with me on my swing, and you know, just really believing in myself and having that right mentality has really changed a lot for me. And I'm just really staying humble with it, and you know, just plan to keep going and keep moving forward.
I didn't catch the bat flip today, but the bat flip yesterday, it turned some heads. Kind of what gives off a good bat flip? I imagine it was like an emotional time for you. What made the bat flip special yesterday?
You know, for me, you know, I'm 22 now. You don't know what the future looks like, so I'm gonna play every day, man. With, you know, this could be it for me. You know what I mean? So I'm just I really think about that, but in the moment, you know, I get hyped up, man. I'm an energy giver guy. I'm just in the moment. I don't hold anything back, you know. So that's just kind of it for me. So
Nolan, he got his first today. Kind of, what did you think of that? It hung up there for a while.
I mean, look at this guy. You got a guy that's over there with Coach Glass over there, and he comes out looking like, you know, a freaking monster out there. And you know, when that guy touches the barrel, it's coming off there hot. You know what I mean? So, you know, all he has to do is just touch the barrel, and the ball's gonna go. And you know, he's such a great teammate. He's so mature for his age. You know, as a young college player, he just has a lot of feel. You know, so that's what's awesome about that guy. Just not only is he just, you know, a freak of an athlete, but he's just such a good guy. You know, and if you have guys like that, or just, you know, just have some feel and some poise, those young guys can do things like that. So
Appreciate it, Brock.
Yep, no doubt.
Yeah, Brock, you've been seeing the ball well here these last couple of games, and you've got a very smooth swing, very pretty swing. And you obviously had a lot of time this off season to just work on yourself, work on your own game. So what are some of the things that you worked on and some of the stuff that you focused on just for development and stuff at the plate?
Yeah, so I actually at home I have a lot of people that that really take into account with me and really work with me. Midwest Athletic Performance, is one of them that just I go in each day and grind out in the weight room. But there's a lot of guys, at this place called Elite Baseball Facility that there's so much knowledge of, different minor leaguers that I get to hit with, and those guys just really see some different things. But I really try to stick to what these guys here have really, just working me on, keeping my lines, having the same routine each day, with my T work, the flips, the BP, just I just stick to my guns, and I stick to what these guys here have done with me, and it's really working. And just staying humble. Like I said, this game will punch you in the mouth, man. You never know. So you just you keep grinding, doing the same things, and you just keep doing it.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned you got some opportunities to train with some people and stuff like that. Was this home? Did you go home? Was this close to where you live?
Yeah. So back in Ohio, it's kind of like a 30-minute radius of where I go from lifting to the cage, and just really good guys, really good people to be around, and a lot of positive energy from those people. So it's awesome.
And just overall, was this you've been waiting a long time for this first series and first game in particular stuff at O'Bray? Was it everything that you had hoped it would be?
Absolutely. I think when it took a lot of guys' hearts last year, when they yanked it from us, and I respect it fully, what all of that, but you just see a lot of guys that come out this year, all the older guys that are coming out ready to go from day one, not taking a day for granted. I think that's really cool to see. And I think a lot of the veteran players we have, I think it's going to carry us a lot further than people think. And it's just really cool to have that.
Yeah, and you guys have shown that you have a really deep rotation, really deep pitching staff, and you guys have a really deep lineup also. So what would you say is the team's identity? What are the things that you guys fall back on here, especially going forward?
I mean, I think a great motto for this program, a great identity, is that there's so many gritty guys. There's a lot of guys that have been through, a lot of adversity. And I talked to Max about this, it was a couple of weeks ago, talking about guys that have been through some stuff and been through adversity. But, you can't back those guys into a corner and keep them there. There's a lot of fighters on this team, and grit would be the word. I mean, just have a lot of dudes that come off the bench. I mean, if you've really been paying attention, the guys that come off the bench and make an immediate impact, and that's hard to do on a lot of other teams, but that's just what this program is, and all the younger guys are buying into that, and that's what you need as a team. So,
thank you, Brock, and good job today. Good stuff.
And Brock, I have one more thing. That the basketball team came out to kind of show support for you guys after their game yesterday. Just kind of how cool is that?
Yeah, man. I mean, it just shows the vibe of Oklahoma State. I mean, everybody rooting for each other. We don't get to see each other out, outside of the facilities or, hanging out together. But, it just shows that, we're one. And, those guys, Coach Boynton and those guys, what those guys are doing especially, it's really cool to have that kind of juju going for them. And then, obviously us, we're staying humble and we're attacking the day each and every day. And, it's really cool to see that.
Is it like that was it like that at LSU, where the teams are kind of it feels like a more family atmosphere between the teams themselves?
Man, for me, I don't really remember, man. I just God, I love it here. I just all the teammates here, a lot of unselfish guys, man, that are just awesome to be around. But it's just really cool to have this kind of positivity around here. So
Appreciate it.
Yep.
Hey, Brock, I got one thing for you. So whenever a pitching performance like this kind of happens, how does that kind of carry over to you guys, and especially in just batting?
When you got guys going out there throwing up zeros each inning, offensively, you're sitting there thinking, man, we gotta get something going for this guy. If he's gonna go out there and grind like that and go 1, 2, 3 with a quick inning, we can have a prolonged inning with, let's score some runs. So that's obviously an energy giver. Bryce hopping off the mound, pumping 95 or whatever he is, he's throwing gas and striking people out with a nasty slider and a curveball. He's got a 4-pitch mix going. Just an energy giver. And it's really cool to have guys that can throw the ball like that, especially young guys, man. I don't know if you guys pay attention to this, but the young guys we have that come out of the bullpen and that are just really poised and controlled, and they got, have a lot of feel for what's going on. That's going to take us a long way. And I'm just really happy with just how we're going, and we just need to keep going and stay humble. And so that's all I got on that.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, bro, no doubt.
All right, anything else for Brock?
I'm all good.
All right, appreciate it, Brock.
Hey, guys,
Thanks, Brock.
Appreciate you.
Got Josh ready to go.
All right,
Yeah,
Josh. You go ahead, Marshall.
Yeah, just I guess to start, just thoughts on the game, thoughts on the series as a whole.
The game, well, anytime you throw a shutout, that's a great way to start it. The guys that pitched today did a really good job. We played clean defense, and that's always important. And then really, to get an early lead with Nolan's home run, and then to follow that up with Brock's home run, to go along with the 2-run shot that Jake hit, to score in the second as well. I have to think back through how that run was created. Brock had a sacrifice fly. So to score early and then to add on was good. It gave us a little bit of a cushion. And anytime you've won the first 2 games of a series, if you can get ahead in game 3, you really test the opponent. And I thought that was important that we do that, because Illinois State's a good veteran team. They're a proud team. They've got good players, and I think they're very well coached. So to get out to an early lead helps. And then I thought really our team, all week, you think about the season starting last Sunday, 6 games in 7 days, good starting pitching in every game, numerous relief pitchers threw the ball well. Our defense has been pretty spot on all week. And some big swings of the bat. And I think swing consistency is on its way for some of our guys that are still working their way into a rhythm at the plate. And they'll get better as we go. So very proud of the team. Very good effort in many phases of the game. And that's a compliment to the players. I really appreciate the way they've handled everything since we got back second semester, and they're off to a good start.
Your team 2 years ago was known for its power with Colin and guys like that. Can this team be similar in that aspect?
I'm sorry, say that part again about previous teams. Marshall, go ahead, say
Yeah,
it.
your team 2 years ago was kind of known for its power. Can this team be similar in that aspect, hitting 6 in the last 2 days?
Man, that's hard to say. That team, that particular year, when you think back, that's when Colin and Trevor just took off and really became just 2 of the best power hitters in the country. I think this team has power. I think when you get Carson back in the lineup at some point, he adds another power-driven force to the lineup. I hope this team will continue to tap into all different ways to score. The type of pitching we're going to face over the course of the season, I think, will demand that you win the games 2-1 or 3-2, and that you can win some games 9-8, depending on how they're played. So I like the quick strike offense. In football, that's those big plays, but I also like to drive it down the field methodically and score. And in baseball, that's walks, that's sack bunts, that's base hits. You're going to have to beat good pitchers with some fundamentals, and then you're going to have to be able to outslug some teams. I think we do have some power. McLean has power for sure. Encarnacion has power. There's definitely some power in Garcia over at first base. When Cade gets on a good groove, he's got power in right. Jake Thompson has some power in left. And then we have some other guys that we're trying to get some at-bats to that I think have some power potential. But there's certain days where the pitchers make elevating the ball really difficult. But if you can hit a ball a day like today, Brock Mathis' homer to left field was a bullet. That was a real home run. He hit it right through the teeth of that north wind. And then obviously Jake Thompson and Nolan took advantage of right field today by hitting those balls on the barrel. So if we have a couple of guys go off like Colin and Trevor did, that'd be one heck of a good thing for our team. That's for sure.
Bryce, he ran into some struggles against Wichita. What do you think about the way he was able to kind of reset and deal today?
You know, I thought he kept it together really good today. Obviously, he goes 5 innings and doesn't give up any runs. I don't think he threw the ball with command like he's going to. He's going to command the ball a lot better than what he did today. He's got a talented arm. I think he's really starting to grow as a pitcher. And even though he didn't have great command of his fastball, those 2 pickoffs at first base were key. He picked those guys off when the heart of their batting order was up. So that's a good thing. He's a phenomenal athlete. He moves off the mound incredibly well and is probably as athletic a pitcher as there is in college baseball. I mean, he is a fast twitch, quick, explosive kid. So he fields his position. Obviously, he holds runners. He's got 4 quality pitches, and at times those pitches can be overpowering, but still early in the season for him. But 5 innings of shutout baseball as you're still getting into your stride, that's a compliment to Bryce. He'll throw even better than that, I believe.
And then last thing from me, the basketball team showed up here last night after playing their game. Just kind of what does that say about the family atmosphere that Oklahoma State has?
Well, it's great. I think it's really a compliment to Coach Boynton in his view of athletics and university family. And I think it's neat that the basketball team would take the time to come out here and be supportive of our team, but also cool for our fans to recognize them for their win that day. And, you know, we're not used to a Jumbotron at baseball, so to have the basketball game on the Jumbotron pregame and know our players were following that score, that's cool. I mean, I want the athletes here to love their university, to root for the other athletes. This is probably the least amount of interaction the athletes have ever had with one another in the last year. So I think it's neat that these guys are friends. I can tell you the head coaches and coaches across this department have never been more unified than they are right now. And that goes for all sports. We got tremendous care level for the university going on across all our sports.
Thanks, Josh.
You're welcome.
Yeah, Josh, I got a couple for you. On Friday, you guys were in a grinder. You were in a close one all the way to the end. And then yesterday, you guys were able to pull away there in the mid innings. And today, you're able to get ahead early and just kind of coast the rest of the way. Is that nice to be able to get ahead early and just kind of float to the end there, especially on a Sunday after so many games in a short period?
I love the win. So yes, that's nice. To play out in front it does create a little room to breathe. But I think for our team, you know, if I'm not mistaken, I have to remember back, I think we trailed at Wichita State. Is that right? Did we trail? I think we trailed in a game there and responded well to it. So you got to learn how to play out in front, and then you got to learn how to play when you're tied, and then you really got to learn how to play from behind. And the thing about all 3 of those things is you should never, ever play any differently. But because we're human, sometimes we think differently when we're ahead or when we're behind. So the biggest thing we're trying to learn how to do, Ryan, is play the pitch the right way and not let the score impact how you play. At times late in this game, we took at bats like we were ahead 6-0 and looked like we were trying to get the game over with. And those at bats were not of the highest quality. So you should always play the pitch the right way, independent of the score. But when you are ahead, sometimes it might give you some freedom to maybe pitch a little bit more differently or a little more aggressively because you're not worried about one swing tying it up. So be my goal for us at some point to play the same way all the time, but you can't deny the score does impact your emotions a little bit.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier, you've had some guys who have got out to really hot starts this year to start, and you've got a couple of guys who have been a little bit slow going at the plate. What's your guys' message to those guys? Just kind of lift them up, give them encouragement, and kind of just get them into their rhythm.
Wow, that's great. That's great advice, actually. I think encouragement's a big deal. I think what you do with your time between now and Tuesday's contest and the mental food that you feed yourself as a player and certainly as a coach goes a long way. Obviously, nowadays you can look at film and see how you're moving in the box or what pitches you're swinging at. That's a a good strategy to use when you're trying to make some adjustments. But I think the biggest advice you can give a hitter is to just work through a good process and not try to get a hit. If all you're trying to do is go up there and get a hit, you forget how to do it. And if you just focus on getting in a good position, getting a good pitch, and then believing in your swing, a hit usually follows that process sometime in the near future. If you just get up there and start swinging and hoping to hit the ball, that's normally when you get away from your strengths a little bit. So we'll remind them of those things. We'll continue to work with them on that. And I would say I don't remember all 4 years I played it, but I think I got off to a slow start 3 of the 4 years. So you can reflect back as a coach and remember how hard baseball is at times and put yourself in the player's shoes and walk alongside them until they get it going.
Yep, absolutely. And Brock Mathis, he's had a very good last couple of games. He's shown like he's getting into his groove at the plate. What have you seen from him this offseason and this during fall ball, stuff like that, just as we headed to now?
Actually, his early season production kind of mirrors what he did in the fall. Brock had a good fall. He hit a bunch of balls on the barrel, hit several balls out, had some doubles, and he's really what you've seen so far out of him. I think Brock's a confident player. When he gets going, he gets a good confidence about him and plays with some good energy, some positive emotion. So that's a good thing he brings to the team. But Brock's a strong guy. When he transferred here out of LSU, we knew we were getting an experienced player with some strength. And I think that shows when he plays. He plays with some know-how, and he plays with some strength. Both things are definitely good things to have in a catcher because that's a tough position.
Yeah, and my last thing for you, we've talked about the offense, talked about the power, but I wanted to ask you quick about your defense. It looks like all around you've got some really good defenders at every position. You mentioned the other day, Cade Cabanis, one of the best right fielders you've ever seen. Would you say this is one of the better defensive units that you've had here since you've been at Oklahoma State?
No, it's hard to say anything this early in the season just because you got to play the whole thing out, right? But we have some guys that play defense well. I mean, Christian is a good third baseman. There's no doubt about that. Matt Goldup is a good defensive player. Huey, when he's in there, is shown to be a very fine defender. Alex picks it out of the dirt over there at first base quite well. We've talked about Cade. Now, he has played a lot of right field at this level and has proven to be very good there. Trinkle's a very good center fielder on the ball in the air. Our catchers are doing a good job. But, teams over the course of a season, I think they establish that type of prowess. I'd say right now our defense is good, and we've got to keep pushing it throughout. We're going to play a lot of teams that if you give them 4 outs an inning, they'll make you pay. So good defense will definitely be a huge piece of keeping our pitching staff throwing so well.
Thank you, Josh.
You're welcome.
Hey, Coach, if you could just talk real quick about Nolan Mclean and kind of how he's adjusted from football and how you've been impressed with him.
Nolan's very confident player in a really positive way. It's in a way where he goes about his business the right way. He has a lot of baseball talent, and Nolan loves to compete. I think that's probably the best way to describe it. His fall spent, with the football team and at times down here with us was definitely showed signs of real impact on our team. And now that he is spending 100% of his time with baseball, there's incremental growth all the time with him. And, when he gets his arm 100%, he'll factor into our defensive alignment as well as DHing. And he's also an incredible pitcher too. So he can do a lot of things. I think what impresses me most is he's very humble. He's very focused and hardworking, and even though he's talented, he doesn't take the game for granted. He doesn't come off that way. He's just one of the guys. Anything else? Okay, thanks, guys.
Thanks, Coach.
You're welcome.